You got pulled up there, huh?
What?
On your computer.
Messages to someone else?
I see how it is. I see how it is. I thought you were pulling up another sick little game like you did last week.
No.
No?
No, I don't have any games today.
Yeah, we don't have any games, only serious discussions.
Yeah.
Like about... Okay, so for full transparency, we may be discussing another podcast. We're a podcast.
Not may, we will.
Well, you know, if the conversation turns out to be boring.
Yeah.
But it won't be. We're gonna
In
get
that case,
so
you'll just
heated.
cut this part out.
Yeah, but for full transparency, right? We're discussing another podcast, right? CreepCast, which you may need to go view. But I'd say the latest episode is not a good metric for their show.
I guess.
In general, in my opinion, it was maybe one of the weakest episode they've made.
You act like Jeff the Killer.
See, that's where the intro would play.
Okay.
I don't actually think, to be clear, right? Although, you bring up Jeff the Killer, right? Their early episodes, you know, it's hard to, like, quantify because they were getting into this shit, right?
Uh-huh.
Because the latest story they read, the latest series of short stories they've read, right? From, like, an objective, like, writing standpoint, they are very well done, right? The writer clearly has some good flourishes to them, but, you know, I don't know about the optics of releasing, like... this is the first like author they were reading, right? And I don't know about the optics of like doing like full swing. Oh, this is like a little more out there. In terms
I would
of,
have
like,
probably started with like I have no mouth and I
and
must scream, or like anything on the Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Which is Stephen King's most popular series of short stories. It's the one that has the monkey.
Yeah. Right. In fact, that would have actually been really great because the movie came out.
Yeah.
But
and the monkey story is so much different than the book.
Yeah, right.
The monkey talks in the book. He doesn't talk in the movie. And when I listened to the audiobook, because I listened to the audiobook right before I went to go see the movie, the monkey just sounded like Mark Hamill. Like, whoever was reading the audiobook just did a Mark Hamill impression.
They did a Mark Hamill voice for the monkey. And you know what?
Yeah.
They should have gotten Mark Hamill to voice the monkey in the movie. The monkey should have...
they had Elijah Wood in there.
That's not the same at all.
Yeah, no, but like what I'm saying is like they could have gotten big celebrities.
Yeah. I thought you were doing the
no
Elijah Wood and Daniel. Was it Daniel Radcliffe? Or they're the same guy.
Well, they're the same. That's not Mark Hamill.
Yeah. I know. I thought you were saying Mark Hamill.
No,
it's part of the weird trifecta of those actors.
No.
Nobody knew.
But no, Elijah Wood's just in one scene, and he eats the main character's power.
What do you mean? Like his like house power? Like
so basically, the main character, he's divorced. He has a kid, but he intentionally doesn't see him because he's like fully convinced he's cursed because he is. But so he goes to pick up his son for the 1 year visit.
Everybody gets one.
And Elijah Wood's like, hey, I'm actually planning on marrying her, marrying your ex, and so I was hoping to do a little ritual. Takes the dad's hands, screams a bit, and then is like, cool, I have now absorbed your fatherly powers.
Yep. Elijah Wood does that in real life. Too.
Yeah. No, actually, there's like kind of let him on set to see what would happen.
And then he just
did that.
If you were a now with divorced, parent, watch out. Elijah Wood is gonna steal your energy.
Yeah, you think Tommy Taffy's bad? No. Elijah Wood is much worse.
Look.
See,
Tommy Taffy will just beat the shit out of your kids because that was definitely WWE back then.
Yeah.
Right. Elijah Wood will steal your parents.
He will just steal your parental powers.
You can't do anything about it. You're boned.
Yeah, and basically he, for work, he had like an alpha male podcast. And like, that's the entire thing.
Oh. Keep away from Elijah Wood.
But anyway,
back to CreepCast.
Back to CreepCast. So you actually mentioned the oldest view, and I think that's really interesting. Like last night when you were talking about it.
Yeah.
Because the Red Tower proper is just the oldest view from the building's perspective.
True. But I think for one of the main differences is that the oldest view, it's obviously a different medium and has a main character. It has characters.
Yes.
Right, which is another. Was my main gripe was that
like, I'm okay with the overtly, in-depth, detailed language, right? I've been specifically getting into that.
Yeah.
And, like, trying to get it, figure out, hey, how do I do this properly and emulate it for my own sort of stuff, right? Right, that I was fine with. The problem was that it was a whole lot of words, and then it was a whole lot of not enough, like, substance to, like, back it up. Because if you have that much description, right?
Yeah.
The main emphasis of putting like descriptive things should be on things that are important, so that the brain prioritizes that information.
Well, I think that was what they were doing, but the main the protagonist wasn't a person; it was the building.
It was the building, yes. But then, could you describe I guess you can describe like the narrative arc of the buildings, like fall and that kind of thing, and that's the main. The main gripe is that they did that as the first one for a new author on CreepCast.
Yeah.
Hunter had no voice lines. They did like very little riffing on it. And I saw a lot of people re-listening because like they had to like just understand it. I got in the first go around, but I was like, wait, what? Where's the rest of it? Because at first I was like very enticed. I was like, oh hey, damn, this is a very fun like
setting.
Yeah, this is a very fun thing we're getting into. I can't wait to see how this develops. And then they kind of. They maintain the focus on just like the appearance and using every adjective known to man.
Admittedly, yes, I was also expecting like a Leland Gaunt figure to show up.
I was expecting the main character to be like, yeah, no one's ever been there, right? Or I think to myself as my car pulls into the
with the key,
yeah, right. Like that would have been like a long but very nice intro, or even if it just like ended there with the main character saying, "Hey, I'm about to approach it," right?
Yes.
Leaving just. Because then that, suddenly is like, oh, hey, right? Like, what is this immediately informs just the narrator as a character way more than we already initially got. And, like, I get what they were going for. It's very atmospheric horror. But I feel like saying, hey, right, that you can substitute tone out for thesis. Yeah. Which, I don't know if you could tell. I talked to my dad about this, in between when you came over earlier today and when you left. And he had a lot to say about it. For reference for audience viewers, my dad writes books and is a college professor in English. So I don't know. Is that cheating?
No, I would say you're just using your resources. I mean, it's the same as like me. I don't know, texting my English professor.
Yeah. Only your English professor doesn't live in your house.
Yeah.
And is having to fix a door that my dog broke down today, which we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to our fucking ridiculous weeks.
But I feel like Red Tower was like the only one like that. The other two stories were pretty standard, like Lovecraftian-esque things.
I'd say they're pretty good. I'd still feel like maybe it was just a step too far in the description. It fits the tone, and I enjoyed them, right? After the Red Tower, I enjoyed the episode a lot more. Mostly because Hunter Hancock was allowed to speak, goddammit.
Nima Moonday. Nima Moonday.
We sound crazy, by the way. This entire intro, we're talking about...
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to CreepCast, which we could not... that and Life in the World to Come are the two big inspirations for this podcast, right? Go listen to them. I feel so bad for my friend Bella. She just finished listening to this history podcast. She's all caught up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to this." And now I'm throwing her down those two rabbit holes for sure. After this, I'm not gonna
womp womp.
Well, yeah, womp womp. You can catch up. We do. Oh, the questions. Oh no, the questions. Oh no, my phone is actively recording, and I don't remember what they were.
Oh shit.
You don't have. We gotta get you the email on your computer ASAP. Anyway, but I feel like
my tummy hurts.
Here, hold on. Let's stand up real quick. Come on, stand up.
Okay. Don't touch my back.
I won't touch your back.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you touch my back, that's gonna cause a whole other set of problems because that's where my bad organs are.
That's where your not functioning organs are, Claire.
Yes.
You need to get better ones.
I do.
You know what you could do?
Organ harvest.
Yeah. I was gonna suggest you drink the Oregon water, but the water from Oregon. To be perfectly clear, people there have such good lungs and such good everything down there. You wanna know why? Because they drink the Oregon water.
They're actually getting Canadian water.
Yeah.
They're smuggling Canadian water.
Why do we keep coming back to Canada? But
that's where we live.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, whatever happened to us living in space?
I mean,
we're hiding from our boss.
We're hiding from Spiders Johnson.
I forgot the lore. I'm a realty chief. I forgot what.
No, we moved to Canada because we're hiding from Spiders Johnson.
Don't say their name.
Yes, I forgot. He's like Voldemort.
Including having a thing living on the back of their head. Voldemort was living on
Yeah, Voldemort was the tumor on the back of the head.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Are you good?
I don't have a head.
I'm
gel.
You can never be too sure, right? You can suddenly have a mannequin head suddenly press its like face like it's fucking Freddy Krueger into the back of your Jello face, all right? You can never be too sure.
So, anyway.
But I feel like
I have a tummy ache because I ate a really big dinner and then proceeded to have a really big ice cream sundae after.
Oh, no.
This was because me and a good friend of mine, Jim Carrey, we heard at our college that, there was going to be this big ball, like this big gala thing today. That being, well, yeah, because you don't go there.
Yeah. I'm going to, like, a university instead.
Yeah. Oh, wow, look at you. So much better. Come back to me when you're in fucking debt.
Hey. I actually probably won't have that much debt afterwards because I've gotten really good like scholarships and
Shut up!
It's the reason I'm able to go directly to there instead of having to go to like I can't say those places. Anyway.
Anyways, that's
as you were saying.
So we get there.
Yep.
We get there at 4:30. The thing starts at 5.
Yep.
No one's there.
Yeah.
But it's 4:30. Maybe we're there early.
Yeah.
It's 5. No one's there.
No one's there.
5:15. No one's there.
Oh.
5:20. We look inside of the building. We look into like side of the ballroom because we thought like, oh, we had to wait to get in. Nothing set up. We see 2 custodians walk past, and we ask, hey, what's happening with this gala? And they're like, oh, we never heard of a gala. You should talk to security. So we go to security, and he's like, yeah, is that not happening? We have all the paperwork saying it should be happening and stuff, but like no one was staffed. We literally, me and Jim Carrey, we go around the entire school, the entire campus, and find all the flyers that say it is today.
At this time.
At this time.
At this place.
Yeah. Nothing. Nothing.
No one was there?
No one was there.
No one else was looking for the...
Yeah.
What?
I talked to one of my friends, who's friends with one of the people who would have worked there.
Yeah.
Turns out it was canceled, but they didn't send any texts or any emails. And they only posted that it was canceled on Snapchat, which, every message on Snapchat expires after 24 hours.
So what the fuck?
So me and Jim Carrey need to get a refund.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah. No, so after that, we went to Colonial Cafe.
So you did do colonial stuff today.
Yeah.
They won't know what that means.
But no. That means we could have just done 7 Kingdoms. Because I only canceled it because of the gala.
So who organized this event?
I don't even know. That's the thing. We couldn't
come up with a name.
We also couldn't find the. That was another thing. There was no club that set it up. We could not find the club that set it up. No one knew. We genuinely. I believe it's a psyop. I believe that I got bamboozled into some sort of government trick.
What the fuck? But again, no one else was.
No one was there.
So
no security was staffed. It was just the one security guard, which is like normal for like the after hours and stuff. Yeah. There was no extra custodians.
My head hurts thinking about this because, like, are you saying there's not at least one other person or like one other group?
When we were leaving, we saw 2 other people sitting on a bench, like they're just as confused as we were.
Okay, I was gonna say because if it was just you and Jim Carrey, right? But as I was saying, right, I was like, because if it was just you and renowned actor Jim Carrey,
yes,
chilling at this college campus with no one else around.
Literally, like when we were leaving,
like
we saw 2 people, and they were like waiting, and like, oh, yeah, we just spent the past hour like hunting for things, and nothing. We're so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't. So and you couldn't find the club either. You do know who?
Nope, no idea. Actually, I can go and grab the flyer.
Go grab the flyer.
I got 2 flyers. There was 2 flyers out.
That's how you know this is real shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at this. 2 separate flyers. All right.
So basically, this was like the setup because they were doing like a talent show thing. So like this was like the sign up for the talent show, and then this was the actual event.
Yep. Formal fundraiser. Oh. Okay. So. I was about to make a very poorly in taste joke. I was gonna be like, oh, I don't know when no one showed up. But I don't want to make that joke live on air.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it in. I'm not gonna let y'all know what that was.
Oh, and after we're done talking about this, I want to circle back actually to the real thing I was mad about, because the story itself, right? The Red Tower, right? Even though I was like, I prefer theme over tone, right? In terms of emphasis in the story, I still enjoyed it. You know, it was a fine piece of literature.
Which personally, I disagree. I believe that you could have incredibly two-dimensional characters, and it can be completely fine as long as the atmosphere is there. I mean, look at the entire slasher movie genre.
Yeah, to be fair, right? That is a very fair point. But like, I don't know, I feel like horror is weird, because if you apply that same principle to other genres, suddenly it's not good. Because that's what a Marvel movie is.
Yeah.
Its entire atmosphere is just an action, right? Like sci-fi, whatever, you know, subset of superhero it is. And suddenly that's not as interesting. But horror is the most unique genre, and that you kind of have, you know, tone is you can't separate it from it, and you can lean much more heavily on it, like in the case of atmospheric horror. Right, but my main gripe.
I mean, counter to that, comedy can do the same thing, i.e., as-death movies.
Yeah,
you know, there's little to no characterization. It's all just in the tone and environment.
Are we saying that that's a movie? Because I feel like those are just jokes. Those are just
fair. They are more like just skits.
Yeah, because that's like saying that, like, I don't know, a knock-knock joke is a narrative.
Yeah.
Which is
okay. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Oh, dog, have you heard the latest knock-knock joke? Nah, dog, let me hear it.
Yo, did you hear A24's knock-knock joke?
Did you hear about the A24 knock-knock joke?
That actually does remind me of a joke I did recently here. 2 jokes I recently heard that I want to share.
Go ahead. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Do you want to hear the St. Patrick's Day joke or the boat joke first?
St. Patrick's Day joke. The boat jokes are always golden.
So, a priest finds a 4-leaf clover.
Okay.
He rubs it, and a leprechaun shows up. And he's like, hey, I got you, leprechaun, that means you owe me a wish. And I was like, yeah, I can totally do that. I can totally get you a wish. I just have a question. In your congregation, are there any leprechaun nuns? The priest sits there very confused, like, what this means. Is like, no. Why would we have leprechaun nuns? And the leprechaun looks down, throws his pipe on the floor, and goes, ah, shit. I just fucked a penguin.
For one, the characterization in that was brilliant. I don't want to hear a single thing about knock-knock jokes or jokes that have good characters. The arc was amazing. He fucked a penguin.
Because these penguins would be like look like a leprechaun.
Yeah. I get the joke. I'm well aware of what a penguin looks like, Claire. You're talking to the world's #1 penguin expert.
Ah, shit.
Name one person.
How did you get that job?
I talked to so many penguins.
Oh shit! How are they dealing with all the tariffs?
Not well. Their economy's in shame. I was economic relief for them. That's how I got in contact with the penguins.
Now for the boat joke.
Okay, you heard that too. I'm not going.
That's
crazy.
Katie running around.
Okay, good. I heard a noise upstairs, and I was like,
"That's either Katie or the cats."
Or I'm going crazy.
But I also heard it.
See, you heard it, so that means I'm not going.
Yeah, that means it's either the cats or the dog.
That means I don't.
Yeah, no, the cats probably found one of Miles' toys. Most likely Moon, because Moon does crack.
Yeah, we have a crack addict cat upstairs. Claire has it, it's not mine.
Yes. The second joke. A young sailor joins a crew. The boat has everything you could possibly want: entertainment, food, movies, etc. But it is an exclusively male crew. Concerned by this type of isolation as a young bachelor, the young man goes to the captain's like, hey, I'm young, I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for something. I don't want to just throw this away, and I am concerned about that. The captain goes, yes, I too have these concerns, being so far from your wife, but we've come up with a solution. As the captain waves the new crewmate along to a barrel. And it's like
Okay.
a barrel with a hole in it. It is a perfectly sized hole, perfect height, perfect everything. And the
Okay.
captain's like, I know it may look weird, but go at it. And the new crewmate, just to try, is like, sure, why not?
Okay.
And does so. He comes back roughly 20 minutes later, like,
Impressive.
oh my gosh, that is the best thing I've ever experienced. Can I use it? And him's like, yeah, sure, you can use it as much as you want, except for on Tuesdays. The crewmate's like, wait,
Okay.
why not Tuesdays? And the captain places his firm hand on his shoulder and says, aye, that's your day in the butt. Okay, that's your day in the barrel.
That's. I don't know how to feel about that one. I'm sitting here. I'm like, damn, that's a good joke. What the fuck? And that's your day in the bucket.
This is your day in the
Hey,
barrel.
that's your day in the bucket. I'm gonna start saying that to people. Oh, what's on Tuesday? Oh, it's your day in the bucket, laddie.
Okay, I'm now going to actually see what they're playing with. Hold on. Because like, they could be getting into something bad.
Yeah. So welcome to Alice Reed's Call of Cthulhu, Keeper's Rulebook, 7th edition. Forward. What has risen may sink, and what has sunk may rise. Cthulhu still lives. H.P. Lovecraft. My own introduction to H.P. Lovecraft was as a child, when I found a tattered book of stories printed long before I was born. I read that book in bed that night and became entranced forever. If you, too, love Lovecraftian stories, you can now experience Cthulhu mythos in a whole new way. I've been a game designer for more than 30 years, and a Lovecraft fan for far longer. I've been an author, a college professor, and even an executive producer on a movie you probably heard of. Hey, welcome back. You interrupted our Cthulhu time, but that's okay.
So the cats found my dad's dice tray
Oh,
and
no.
stole one of his D10s.
Well, what were they rolling?
They're just kind of throwing it around.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Come on, what was their highest number? Be honest.
I just saw that it was on a
Just say a
7.
number.
I just saw that it was on a 7.
Lucky 7? That's it? I
Yeah.
mean, that would make sense, given who the cats,
Yeah.
or one of the cats. But no, it was both of them.
Yeah, I gave you both of them.
Yeah. Thanks for giving me both your cats, by the way. That'll really help me in my long-term plans to be evil and do crimes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I have your dog.
Yeah, you do have my dog. Technically I also have your dog as well.
Yes.
We just kind of switched pets for a while.
Yeah.
Enjoy a fat dog who... Oh, I can tell the story now.
Yes.
So, this morning, right, every morning I, walk my dog normally for an hour, right? He's kind of a fat dog, and by kind of him, he's a very fat dog. He's got thyroid conditions, and also my parents are not amazing. But, yeah. They don't listen to this, it's fine. My grandpa does, but he won't tell. He'll forget about it. In which, every morning, try and, whenever I have time in the afternoons, walk the bastard for, like, upwards of an hour, right, hour and a half. Really just, and we run, right? We're crossing, like, there's one specific field down the road from here, right? Whenever we're doing, crossing that thing, just booking it, right? Trying to burn as much calories off this dog as I physically can, right? So he really enjoys going on walks. Right, and which this morning I was like, all right, Hamlet, time to go on a walk. Grab the thing, grab the dog bags, whatever, right? And I was walking to the back door so I can also get some garbage out, right? And we have a sliding glass door as well as just a mesh screen door, in which Hamlet, right, the glass door was open, the screen door was closed, books it through and just plows directly through the mesh door.
Wasn't this the second time he'd done
This
this?
is the second time he's done that, right? Which, all right, we'll get back to the first time because the first time was admittedly funnier from my perspective. The second time I was sitting there watching powerlessly as he ran right by me and just. The door did not stand a chance. He bent metal, okay? He weighs like, I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 75, I think like 65 pounds or something like that, right? In which he just absolutely crushed the door. The metal at the hinge was bent because of the impact of this large dog coming through it and just absolutely decimating it. It fell onto the ground. And which afterwards he just kind of looked at me like, all right, let's go. And which I kind of just stood there defeated like, God, not again.
All I gotta say is, Ham low-key be reminding me of Lucky Roo. Who's basically, he's the main chef on Shanks' crew.
Shanks.
And his main attack strategy is to fully coat his body in hockey and then roll around like a ball and just crash into things.
Hell yeah. That's what Hamlet does. Hey, if you want inspiration for what you can do with Hamlet, cover him in hockey and have the one guy throw him like a bowling ball and the rest of us.
Yeah.
Congrats. I've given you what to do with Ruinous. But the first time Hamlet did that, right, it was, I think, last summer. Right, I'd woken up, right, first in my household to do so. I was taking care of the dog. I got him some food, and I stepped outside. I had a muffin. I had, some breakfast. I was eating it outside. Hamlet was still chilling inside. All right, then my mom walks downstairs, right, Ham gets all excited. Hey, he has separation anxiety and all that. So he's like, hey, finally he's running around. Then from my perspective, I just see him slowly approaching the screen, getting closer and closer. And I'm like, oh, surely he'll stop. No, he didn't stop. He didn't stop. He kept going. And it seemed like, I don't know if he could see the screen door or not, or if his dumb dog eyes just can't process it.
Like how birds can't process windows?
Yeah, how the birds can't process windows. Because again, he just collapsed through. The thing fell over. He was standing on the porch. He was just sitting there like, hey, how's it going? What's going on, guys? And then me and my mom just kind of make shocked eye contact as we look around like, God. Because what do you even do in that situation? How do you reprimand a dog for getting so excited? He fatly collides through a screen door, going 1 billion miles an hour. Because he can get so fast. If he did that to a person, they would get Kid Omni-Man. They would die. He could A-train someone. So watch out if you ever see.
Yo, we should take Ham to the Magic Kingdom and just have him run around the fountain and just wreck all the proposals.
Yeah, every wedding proposal, just annihilate couples by the dozens. We gotta train him though, so it's only one at a time. So we create so many. That's how they defeat Homelander in season 5. They just get my fat dog to create so many more Hueys, so that by the end of that season, right, by the end of the series, there are just so many guys who with teleportation powers willing to fucking take this guy down. I'm trying to think.
Wait, so in the show, do we see that Huey could teleport other people by touching them?
Yeah, he teleports Starlight, and which she also teleports with her clothes miles away out of Herogasm.
So why didn't Huey just grab Homelander?
Mm-hmm. Like he did several times in the fight.
Yeah, and just warp him away and then warp back.
Well, I mean, they were trying to kill him by that point.
Yeah.
Right? But they had 2 of the strongest soups plus Huey right there at that moment. Well, I feel like if Huey really wanted to really go down with the ship, could teleport all the way into space.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if Homelander could survive
in the books, he can't.
I mean, he's not like a Viltrumite where they can just hold their breath. He's still a normal-ish guy. Mm-hmm. He's just really durable.
Yeah.
Why didn't Huey grab the Homelander to teleport him into space?
And hell, he could have just teleported back.
Yeah, because he's always falling. Oh, well, no, because, teleport straight back to the ground.
I mean, it depends on, whether your teleportation accounts for velocity.
Yeah. That's always a weird thing with teleportation, in that, how do you... Because physics isn't being applied here. Because it's either you're here, and then you're here. Or it's no, you're... You know what I'm fucking mean?
I saw someone I really like. I'm talking about how when you teleport, you are actively swapping place with the oxygen molecules of where you're switching.
Okay.
In which case, velocity would still be something you need to take account of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also a thing of
which is funny enough. One of the reasons why Nightcrawler can climb on walls.
Yeah.
So he can catch himself.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's another whole other thing with teleportation and the Star Trek thing where they just rebuild you, right, from another spot, which. That's it. That's not you. That's not you. You die.
No, there's literally a character in Star Trek who refuses to use transporters for that reason.
Yep, that'd be me.
And the one time he gets suckered into doing it, a malfunction happens, making an evil clone of him.
Yeah.
The one time he uses it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that guy's got a point. He's the smartest character on the show.
Yeah.
They kill. You're not alive after that. This is a fleshy being with all your memories and all your exact thing. To everyone else, it's the same thing, but it's a silent genocide. I tell him.
Yeah, it's just cloning.
Yeah, it's cloning, but you're not. It's not you. It's not. That's from our perspective, sure, from our omniscient God point of view, yeah, that's the same guy. But no, it's not. It's not the same guy. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing in Star Trek. That's like a big philosophical talking point, and like they basically accepted that risk.
It's what happened. They're fools. But no.
I mean, yeah, they're just like, yeah, and also back when we were pre-warp, people would get into death boxes that could catch on fire if they would take too much damage.
Okay, but like, I feel like, no, I'd rather. I'm deciding. Like,
Would you rather ride in a Cybertruck or use a Star Trek transporter?
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind. I was about to be like, I'd rather ride. No, I would not ride. I'd rather use. If their only alternative was a Cybertruck, I get it actually.
Okay.
I get that makes sense.
A moral-free Cybertruck. It's built the same way, but like all the moral implications are removed.
Okay, but why would I want a piece of shit?
Exactly. No, that's the thing. Like, yeah.
Why would I want an expensive, doesn't work well, piece of shit technology? Someone tried to just use a Cybertruck to pull just another truck out of like a small
because
thing.
that's what it was advertised to be.
It's a truck. It's supposed to do that, and then the whole just the underside. I don't know, car.
The undercarriage. Yeah,
undercarriage just came off. It was glued there. It was not like soldered. It was not welded.
You can make an entire salad on it.
You can make an entire salad. You can lose your fucking fingers if the door closes incorrectly. And the first few times, it'll be like, oh, no, it'll go, oh, nope, can't go there. But after the third time, it's not going to stop.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a hand that way. I saw a video where someone almost lost their hand, though. It's scary. Those are sharp edges.
Yeah. I saw someone do, like, a ballistic gel dummy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, my God. Elon Musk is a finger harvester. We finally figured out what the fuck is up with that guy. He's after your fingers. Don't let him get your appendages.
Also, your car can't get wet.
Yeah, oh yeah, it can't get any sort of environmental conditions.
Yep, like it explicitly says in the manual that if any residue from rain to snow to animal droppings to like dirt,
anything,
it needs to be washed in an hour or it will permanently stain the stainless steel.
Yeah. Because
cars aren't supposed to be made of stainless steel.
Yeah. Also, the fact that it's made out of stainless steel is not a good thing for the driver.
Yeah.
Like, there's a photo of like where a Cybertruck and another car got into a crash, right? The other car was destroyed, but the Cybertruck looked relatively fine. But you compare the injuries the drivers had, the one in the totaled looking car, was like fine, right?
Yeah.
They were relatively unharmed. The person on the Cybertruck, they experienced all of the momentum of the crash because the car wasn't built to absorb it. It was it absorbs it into the driver.
Yeah.
And they were fucked up.
Like there's a guy on TikTok I used to follow when I used TikTok.
Free.
Who was a vet in the Iraq War, who like basically can't work anymore because of the brain damage he experienced from having a grenade go off under a tank he was in.
Yeah,
and he's like, they're building Cybertrucks to be like the tanks I'm in.
Like tanks.
That's not a good thing.
It's like
that's why I have brain damage now.
I have brain damage because of a tank. Why is Elon Musk building so many tanks?
He also he told a lot of funny stories on his TikTok. One of them is he's the reason why Game Boys were banned on base.
Yeah,
because there'd be a lot of like scouting nights, like just like basically complete standstills.
Yeah.
But he was a medic. So he was in the medic tent, but he wouldn't turn the volume off.
That's so bad. You just hear the OG Pokemon boot up theme, right? And you're like, you're in an enemy camp, right? You're currently at a standstill, right? It's going to be a long and cold night as you're out scouting.
Along with that, first day of boot camp, the drill sergeant was like going through everyone in the barrack and like, basically having them state what they were going in for and be like, no, you're gonna kick doors down, just like to shatter morale because that's probably what they would be doing.
Yeah, you're gonna do this and that.
And then he finally gets to Pat. That was the name of the TikToker.
Yep.
I was like, and he was like, I'm gonna be a medic. The drill sergeant pauses with like horror and is like, yeah. You're gonna be doing your job.
Yeah.
Because you don't insult the healers.
You don't fuck with the medic. Bad idea. You don't want to mess. You don't want to mess with Doc. All right. There was r/ back when I used Reddit, which That was the main thing I wanted to complain about. The story itself, right? I still enjoyed the story, but the Reddit response.
Yes.
I relapsed. I re-downloaded Reddit, right? Because I was so.
They made an old man cry. They just started bullying this old man.
I don't think he cared.
I don't know.
I mean,
Hunter did explicitly say to stop harassing him personally.
Yeah, that was the thing. I can't find that post though. Or at least I didn't in like when I was looking.
Did
for
you
it.
check his account?
Yeah, I looked on his account. I didn't see it there. I don't. Maybe it got taken down, but Hunter removed it. But I don't know if anyone could link that in the comments down below. Which, by the way, we have normal comments now, not those weird Spotify comments that we have to approve of before they go up.
Yeah.
That I don't know. Every time I see I check the Spotify for podcasters page. It's like, hey, here are some comments that people left. You want to let them out in the wild? It's like, okay, but I didn't know I had to approve every comment in our comments. Yeah, we got a few comments. Phoenix left one. We had one from the first episode where someone asked. Who was John Fortnite or something like that. I don't know. We could check on the. We could check off air because I believe only I have Spotify for podcasters on the phone that's currently recording one of our two audio streams.
I mean, I can look at the comments if I just went to the normal.
Yeah, but I don't know which episodes they're on. So you have to search. How many are we on now? We're on we're over 20.
Yeah,
I know that. It's episode 22, 21, something.
About.
Welcome to the 21. Well, hey, the podcast can drink. That's how episodes work.
Yeah.
But
shit, that means we can fuck the podcast.
Whoa, we do we? Is this a fetish? Is this fetish content?
No, I'm just saying it's legal.
Well, I'm saying I don't know because last time a podcast talked about being manifested into something fuckable, we got Bobby Sugarbones. So because the Chester Cheetah inflation porn.
Holy shit!
So these screens better stay up. We are not losing any.
We are not.
We're not going down with any. Immediately blue screens on both of them.
Just looking besides both of us.
We just stare into horror as slowly the screen just. Fuck
what you
you
said?
we both fall sideways off our chairs.
That was an SNL skit.
Really?
Yeah, the everyone here is going to die tonight skit thing. Yeah, that's an SNL skit.
SNL, what happened? I don't know. I don't watch SNL.
I mean, they're early. Everything with Andy Samberg was peak, and then Andy Samberg quit to go pretend to be a police officer or something.
But when did you watch the Andy Samberg era?
I mean, it's on Hulu.
Yeah, but I'm saying, at what age were you when you watched this?
Oh, over the summer.
Okay, because I was gonna say everyone's favorite SNL season is the one that was when they were young.
Oh right? No, that was over the summer. If I really wanted to say that would be probably when I was in middle school. That would be that time in which there was some good stuff there, but it wasn't as good as the Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg. Bill Hader era.
Yep. Bill. I got nothing against Bill.
I love Bill Hader. Nah, he's great. I gotta finish Barry.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that. I heard mixed things about it.
I've seen the first 2 seasons and they were fucking phenomenal.
I heard it's the 3rd season that's. I heard it near the end. I also heard it because it was a bunch of nominations for shows that it really shouldn't belong in. It's if.
It's live action BoJack.
Yeah,
that's the only way I can put it.
Yeah.
It's live action BoJack, but with murder.
Yeah, but imagine putting that in I think comedy, or was it its
Oh
main
no,
thing?
it is a dark comedy.
Yeah, but oh no, I think it was either in comedy. I don't know, I haven't seen the show, but it was in either comedy or drama, and it's
I mean, it's both.
Yeah, but the thing is I don't know. It leaned, I think, whatever category it got nominated in, right? It was okay, but it won over stuff that was primary drama or primary comedy, which is always a weird thing with media, because it's how do you Better Call Saul is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. How do you it's a comedy drama lawyer show some action, especially mostly towards the end, how do you where do you put this guy other than it's at peak? Where in the peak level
Honestly,
is it?
Barry and Better Call Saul have the same genre.
Yeah, pretty much. Dramedy, right?
Yeah.
That's the death of comedies over the past however long, they've been dying out in just most media is kind of crazy to see. Because it was most media companies, they were hey, we either produce this media for really cheap, or produce it for $1 billion, right? We dump every cent there is into Rings of Power, and Invincible gets nothing.
Actually, speaking of that, the Thunderbolts is coming out soon.
Yep.
I didn't know that 90% of the staff were all A24 workers. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did they outsource it to like, or like?
Like
what?
they just hired those directors and like
Okay.
producers.
Okay, so yeah, I was like, did they outsource it to just A24?
No, they just got a whole what?
Pretzels. Keep talking.
Yeah, they just got a whole bunch of writers and directors from A24 to work on it. Not only that, but they also got the fight choreographer. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I'm pretty sure they got like the fight choreographer from Everything Everywhere All at Once for it.
Huh. These
And
are
I'm
stale.
like, oh yeah, yes.
Very stale.
And I'm honestly pretty excited after hearing that.
That's,
Not to mention they're doing Sentry's powers right, aka he kind of just erases people.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
No bullshit about you just get erased.
Basically,
Call him the eraser.
So he has he has split personalities, and every person he saves, with one of his personalities has like Superman powers, and every person he saves with that, an equal amount of people need to die from his altar.
Ooh.
He just has deletion powers.
Yeah, that's not a very fun power to have. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm Superman, but also every time I save someone,
An equal.
amount of people like
Like there's a time you stop the plane from crashing.
At that point, you might as well just get a net, neutral, and just. I mean, is he a villain if he's also saving people?
Yeah. I mean, his
Everyone's
most
gotta
recent
die.
story arc in the books is so he gets mind wiped by Reed Richards.
As you do. As you do.
So like he could completely forget this. And he's accidentally a good Samaritan one time, and it ruins everything.
God damn. Did one job. Be normal. Couldn't even handle that.
Like basically what he did to save that one person was just like do the Heimlich on someone in a restaurant, which is just a very normal thing to do.
But now it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
Someone's gotta die here. We keep not talking about the Reddit comments, which fucking.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
I need to get this out of my bones. It's been wriggling inside of me for the past several days. So I was like, I was looking at the YouTube comments I was seeing. The YouTube comments were surprisingly chill. Everyone was like, "Hey, I had a hard time focusing on the story," which I feel like with these kind of stories, I feel like they would have been better. They're better if you just sit down and read them, right? A podcast.
I mean, I can't focus, but so about like as an audiobook, yeah.
Yeah. All right, but like, I feel like the format of CreepCast, especially for the Red Tower, was not very good because like for this kind of story, I think I would have enjoyed it. I'm getting into just sitting down and reading these long, complicated, word adjective stories, right? Yeah, I feel like if I had sat down and read the Red Tower, I would have liked it a lot more.
Yeah.
But like because it was in an audiobook and at Isaiah's pace, I was sort of like, hold on. Like at one point when I re-listened to it, just to be like, did I like miss something here, right? Is there more to the story, right, that I just didn't get? I like slowed it down to like 0.9 or like 0.85 speed just so I can really process it. And that's the main thing about reading published works that I feel like is a little. My knife keeps slipping away. That is a little weird, right? In that like with some of these like more dense, right, or more thorough stories that are from accredited authors, they're gonna start leaning into like, okay, how much of an audiobook do we, just a pure audiobook do they want to be? In which the Red Tower was almost entirely just an audiobook read by Isaiah,
Yeah.
right, with very little riffing, which I feel like that does not. I'm worried that's not gonna leave a good impression, and already hasn't on the community for like published author stories.
Yeah.
Because apparently the community has no media literacy because it's currently a warfare between people who like the story and people who didn't, and like mostly the Red Tower, but like. There's people bashing on other stuff. And, like, on the one side, you have people who are like, hey, this story was pretty pretentious, which, like, I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
a subjective thing, but I guess.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, I think that's just like most old-timey horror novels.
Yeah, this was released in, like, the 1990s, so, like...
Yeah, but if you're going for that style, I mean, that's... Dog, don't say it's pretentious and then read Stephen King. I got bad news for you.
Yeah. But then, like, those people were like, okay, yeah, they're clearly not, like, smart. There were valid criticisms to be made, like, how, like, hey, this is a non-traditional narrative, right? Didn't have an emphasis on, like, plot and, like, a theme, right? And it's understandable to not enjoy that, right? And not everyone has to enjoy the overtly flowery, like, was it purple prose? However you say the one thing where it's, like, too flowery and, like, kind of, I don't know, it's a phrase that popped up. I don't know, I learned about that phrase very recently. My dad was like, yeah. But, like, those people, right, were not as common as the people I saw who were just absolutely livid that people could dare to dislike the story. And because it's Reddit, right? So you're going to have a lot of people who are like, oh, you need a high IQ to understand this. And, like, seeing that, like, I got to start getting flashbacks to so many other Redditors who are, like, the same level of pompous, like, oh, you just need a high Rick and Morty IQ bait type shit to look at it. And I was like, it's not the problem. It's not the problem. I understood the story pretty damn well. I've been getting into this shit. I didn't fully enjoy it on the first read through because of the format, because of other problems. You can't just shut down criticism because you can't just do that as a media. Shut the fuck up.
My biggest criticism, like the thing I've kind of been clapping back with, is just like, hey, this genre is very popular with almost every horror author you've heard of. So, yeah. Like, that's always been my thing. That's my main comment. It's like, I'm not going to expect this genre to be for everyone, But, like, it's a very common one. Like, this type of flower, if you're hating on it because of the flowery language, I got bad news for you, buddy. I got really bad news for you.
My main thing is that I feel like the flowery language took away... Right, it added a lot to the atmosphere and tone, but aside from just the narrative, right, which was still, somewhat there, right, that it took away from, I feel like the main thing, especially in the Red Tower, that it got in the way of was the pace of the story. Yep. Okay. And it does that sometimes whenever audio is... Because, like, on this one, the audio streams, when you zoom out, are just itty-bitty, but then you zoom in, and it's like... because this one is zoomed out a little bit, so you can see more of the... We're good. Okay. But as I was saying, I feel like the pace, right, of the stories, right, could have definitely been improved upon. For the 3 stories that were read, right, it definitely felt like, okay... like, I get what they were I saw what they were going for, but it's like, you could have had this exact same impact and cut this down way more, right? Because, like, was it brevity is, like, the heart of wit or whatever that phrase is, and that was very much not what these stories were connecting back to, right? The central idea was, hey, let's, like, really dig into this. But the entire time, right, when I was, like, reflecting upon it, I was like, oh, this reminds me of that Drew Gooden video, Everyone Wants to Waste Your Time. And that, I feel like for, like the Red Tower, it took them, like, a half hour, for Isaiah to read all of it. And by the end, I was sitting there, like, I feel like the actual, like imagery in my mind is not enough, for like 30 minutes of this. I had a pretty clear image of what the, the Red Tower was about, of what all the factory, all the fun little, trinkets that it made, right? I had all that imagery in my mind, but I was like, this could have been down to like 20 to 15 minutes, right, of straight reading, right? Had this author just, they could have still included a lot of the language, but, many words that are big and complicated, right, will have less impact overall than a single well-done word, was it the Mark Twain quote? If I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter. Generally, whenever you're communicating your ideas as an author, right, if you're able to do them in less, in more compact ways, right, that's what later drafts are for, right, generally it will come across as a better piece of media, right, and that was my main thing, is that it felt like, the Red Tower, had all of, this going on around here, but then you dug a little deeper in the surface, and it felt like it wasn't as impactful, right, as it definitely could have been. And I would love to see the story, right, with just a second draft. That's with a little more emphasis on, using the medium that it has, right, and the clear tone it is going for, right, to go further with it, which is what the latter 2 stories did feel like. I enjoyed those much more. It's also because we got to hear Meat Canyon.
Ignore me.
Okay. Well, also, I'm running out of words to say here. Mostly because I could feel the hate leaving my body as I, get these words out of here, I could see the Redditors, you know, off in the distance. They're slowly fading away like Force Ghosts at the end of most Star Wars movies. Hey, what the fuck? Well, how the fuck as a society did we just kind of move on from Rise of Skywalker? Oh, I guess COVID happened. Rise of Skywalker came out, and then COVID happened. That sequence of events happened within the span of like months, and then I feel like this. We don't talk about that enough. How Rise of Skywalker kind of got away with it, only partially because the entire world felt like it was about to end relatively soon. I'm so curious as to what you're writing down there. Halfway through my monologue, Claire grabbed one of our patented sticky notes, of which none of you get to see. But one day, if we get big, we can start selling them.
Which one's better? Which one's better?
What did you write down? For
sale, baby shoes never worn. The old Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah.
6-word sad.
Mm-hmm. 6-word sad. I love that.
Versus.
Buy shoe, dead baby.
Yeah, buy shoes, dead baby. Okay. It's the same thing.
It's not though. In this one, right in the bottom one, the buy shoes, dead baby, that is explicitly stated text. The top one, it's subtext, and that gives it way more power.
Yeah.
And so
but also buy shoes because dead baby.
Buy shoes, dead baby. Title of the episode. Backtrap. Do you know how fucking crazy we look?
Well, you don't look like anything. We're fucking audio.
If we look, they can't look. They're stupid. They're audio listeners. To all the audio listeners right now.
Fuck you.
Fucking idiots.
If you're watching video, you're a real G.
If you're watching video, you're a real one. You said last episode we should do stuff for like YouTube Shorts and all that.
Yeah.
We have not done that.
Of course not. We haven't had the time.
I don't know. You didn't have a fucking gala event today, so I guess we could have had the time.
I guess, but I didn't know that.
Lied to. Trick. But back to stories, I guess. So
Yes.
The main thing is that for sale baby shoes never worn could have easily been more of the Red Tower, but in the end it felt like let's see here. Purchased footwear, deceased infant, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it, that's a better title. Purchased footwear, deceased infant. Yeah, that's what ended up, feeling like in the end. Because there was actually I'm not realizing that's another big thing is that because it went so in depth with descriptions and the way it handled its tone, there was no room for subtext.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like now the pacing and the lack of.
I mean, the last story there was.
I'm talking about just the Red Tower. That's my main thing. The latter two, were certainly better. I still think I prefer Dagon's Mirror over the two, but yeah. This is also because that one was also a more self-contained. You didn't have to get through the Red Tower to get to the other two.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I enjoyed them, right? But I'm not realizing even preclusive to this over analytical writing style is that it doesn't. You have to emphasize putting in good subtext and stuff, and when you are so hyper focused on all the important things, it doesn't leave room for subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
With the Red Tower, right? It was a very vividly described location. I had a very clear image in my mind, but there was very few things in it where I was sitting there what is the implication of I suppose there was a lot of what is the implication of this, but it wasn't for sale baby shoes never worn, where the implication of hey baby baby go bye-bye. Deceased infant. Purchased shoes. Deceased infant.
Giving the same energy as SpongeMan Ice Cone.
SpongeMan Ice Cone.